Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Katie, and if this is not your first video here, I'm glad that you're back. Thanks for coming back tonight. So this evening I wanted to, or morning or afternoon, whatever time it is for you lovely folks, I wanted to hop on and do a little WIP Chat and an update as well, since you guys all seem really excited and interested to hear about what's going on with my progress on this giant Josephine Wall canvas, which is what I have in front of you tonight and what I'll be working on after I give you a little update. So I am nearing the end of my second column, going from like the bottom of the canvas to the top of the canvas. I'm working on it this way because the canvas is so large. Ultimately, it's going to end up in my lap or I'm going to be straining my back trying to like reach to get to the middle. It's just not practical for me. My plan is to flip it so that the end of the canvas that I haven't started working on, which is that way, I'm going to I think I'm going to try like just letting it fall over the end of the table, and I don't know if I'm going to try to loosely roll it, but I might try to like cut a pool noodle and put it on the corner of my table so that it doesn't bend. And well, let me get a color and start working while we talk. But yeah, hold please. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay. Okay, so the reason that I backpedaled quickly when I said loosely roll, oh wait, no, is because, sorry, hold please. Okay, there we go. The reason that I will not be loosely rolling it is because I've been working on this canvas for a little over a week on and off. And I might have mentioned before, but I'm not 100% sure. I live in a relatively small space. My husband and my two sons and I live in about 1,200 square feet of condo because we live in Southern California. Hello, high housing costs. Anyway, it works for us. We're very, very grateful to live here. Anyway, so I don't have a dedicated, I do not have a dedicated crafting space, which means that I work on my diamond paintings and shoot videos and all of that at my kitchen table. I'm at my kitchen table right now. My children are 2 and 4, and I've mentioned before that my 2-year-old is an absolute tornado, and that means I absolutely cannot leave things down and in his reach when he's awake. So all this to say, my diamond paintings need to get put up in between times working on them. At the very least, they go up in the mornings and that kind of thing. I need to be able to quickly put them up and out of reach. So what I had been doing was loosely rolling this canvas very, very loosely. And I thought that the double-sided adhesive would tolerate that well. However, I don't know, because generally I'm not as familiar with double-sided adhesive and its quirks. Most of the kits that I work on are poured glue. With this super large canvas, which, okay, I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself because, okay, this is going to be one of those lives that's really all over the place and lots of backpedaling. And my good friend Lindsay did a rabbit trail WIP Chat that she posted, and I absolutely loved it because I felt like it was just very authentic and stream of consciousness. And if that's not your thing, I apologize in advance. But speaking of Lindsay, I just came out of the most hysterically ridiculous live that I have ever been in my life. So I'm definitely going to be linking her Instagram down below. If you do not follow Lindsay, her She has both an Instagram account and a YouTube channel. You should be following both because she's a wonderful, wonderful human being and also really stinking hilarious. But we just were in an Instagram live with her for 2.5 hours, and I swear I've never laughed that hard in my life, without exaggeration. There were tears rolling down my face. She posted the replay. I don't know if the hilarity is still going to be there, if it's going to feel like you're the only sober person in a room full of drunk people. So there's that caveat. All this to say, I'm still riding that high. Just feeling really silly and giggly, I guess, and ridiculous. So my thoughts are a little scattered, but I very much wanted to get our WIP Chat recorded for you guys tonight. So let me try to take it back. Let me cover the bases that I missed when I just jumped right in. Hi, if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm working on and just heard me in passing mention the giant Josephine Wall canvas, that's what I'm currently working on. This canvas is 100 by 75 centimeters. It is from a company called Diamond Painting Deutschland, Germany. And they have a number of kits that are made with legally licensed artwork from Josephine Wall. She does license out her artwork to multiple companies, so you have probably seen some of her work with Diamond Art Club or even Mystical Diamond Art, and I think there's another company that I'm missing, but if you aren't familiar with copyright and licensing, it gets really complicated really quickly. Some artists will sign exclusive contracts with companies, others will sign with multiple. So just because you see Josephine Wall artwork with multiple diamond painting companies does not necessarily mean that only one of those companies is legit. It's just a little heads up for you in case you didn't know. So this company, Diamond Painting Deutschland, does not just Josephine Wall kits, but they do have a section with a selection of quite a few kits by Josephine Wall, and they all have, I think the fewest colors that I saw one have is 160, and the most that I saw was 240. And this kit in particular, as I mentioned, is 75 by 100 centimeters. It has 220 colors, which means confetti crazy. I'm going to finish this section hopefully very soon and then show you guys what an unpainted section looks like, and you'll see the confetti struggle is real. So like I mentioned, I started this a little over a week ago, and I have not been just working on this because I think I would lose my mind only working on something with this much confetti. It's squares, which squares take me longer anyway. And the reality is this is a project that even if I worked on it exclusively, I really feel would take me months to complete, like 2 months to complete, even if I worked on it by itself. So I'm currently working on this one as well as the first kit that I've worked on from DIY Moonshop called The Stars Who Listen, which I'm very much enjoying. I'm a little over halfway done with that one. And speaking of that kit, The Stars Who Listen, I had mentioned in one of my last videos, I think my last WIP Chat, that I was having a little bit of trouble with the adhesive, the poured glue on that canvas, and wondered if anyone else had similar trouble. And I did hear from 1 or 2 people, and interestingly enough, the people that I spoke with had either also done what I usually do on my kits, which is to peel off the plastic cover that comes on it and replace it with release paper. I use the Star Or release paper, so I know I'm using something that's supposed to be safe to use on diamond paintings. On this kit I use parchment paper, but I'm going to get into that more in a minute. let's talk about the other kit first. I want to try to stay a little bit focused here. So interestingly enough, the people that reached out to me that mentioned also having trouble with the glue on their DIY moon shop kits, one of the gals also uses release paper, pulls off the plastic cover and uses release paper, and or the other gal, either she also used release paper and purchased it in the same window that I had with that order, which was, I think I made the purchase in July, end of July, beginning of August. And that was right around the time, it seemed like everyone that placed orders around then, that the turnaround time seemed to be much, much, much longer than usual. Friends and I have speculated that that's because that was right after they debuted all of Jeremiah Morelli's work, and he was super, super popular, and tons of people were ordering his along with the promotions. And so, some friends and I kind of speculated, I wonder if the quality maybe just suffered a little bit these months because they were trying to crank these kits out. So, all this to say, I'd still be very interested to hear from anyone else that has had an experience with DIY moonshot kits where they feel like their adhesive is slippery or not super sticky. And if that was a consistent problem that you had with DIY moonshot kits, or if that was just sort of a one-off. My plan, whenever I do another DIY moonshot kit, is that I am going to just work off of the plastic cover that comes on it as opposed to replacing it. Maybe section it off with washi and work with it that way. The plastic typically just drives me kind of crazy, and I'd rather just rip it off and replace it with release paper. That's just a personal preference. So I'll experiment with it a little bit. I absolutely love the artists that DIY Moonshop work with, and so I am more than willing to troubleshoot a little bit and see if I can, if I'm the problem, I want to try to fix it, As far as this canvas goes, I actually am really enjoying working on it, which, as I've posted updates here and there on Instagram, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do post some updates there that don't necessarily make it here on my channel. If you'd like to follow me over on Instagram, I do link to my account in the description box below. And my handle is just diamonds_and_washi. So pretty similar to my channel name. As far as this canvas goes, like I said, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was expecting to. It's taking me so stinking long. Okay, so can you see? Yeah, I think I have the whole thing in frame. This section right here, which I'll cut it here, and this will be the last section. Depending on how bad the confetti is, it's still probably going to take me like 2.5 hours to do a section just this large. Once I finish this, so this is the one end of the canvas right here, and I've just done, I did this mini column for my first column and then like doubled that in size for the second because I just decided to try working in a larger area. Even once I finish this, I feel like I might be an eighth, a tenth of the way done with the canvas. So my guess is if I continue to work on other kits concurrently with this one, that I doubt I'll finish this before the new year, but it's fine. I'm not in a rush. I could see myself taking some time off from this kit, especially as we do get closer to Christmas. And if I have Christmas kits that I want to work on that are a little more time sensitive, I do know that I'm planning to take just a little bit of a break from all the there's a lot of different events going on right now. I love that everyone is hosting various events, and I think it's a really, really fun way to connect with people that you might otherwise miss out on, because if you follow along with hashtags, you'll find people that might otherwise not show up in your feed. And also it's a fun way to find people that have things in common with you and have similar interests. But for me right now, I'd really like to prioritize working on a kit from each of the different companies that I've purchased from. I'm really interested in just sort of taking a really broad look at the different companies that are out there that offer legally licensed artwork, and getting a handle on how I feel about the quality and sharing that with you guys as well. So for the time being, I'm just playing it by ear. The whole point of this hobby, for me at least, is that it is first and foremost, like, it's a hobby. It's something that I do because I enjoy it for its own sake. It's very relaxing and stress relieving to me, and if I try to put everything about it on a schedule that doesn't, just for my brain, it doesn't feel as relaxing to me. So I'm giving myself permission to be okay with the FOMO, the fear of missing out here. And it's okay if I don't participate in every single event. And I really hope that, not that I think anyone is looking to see what I'm doing, but I hope no one takes it personally. Like, if you're hosting an event and I just happen to choose not to take part, it's hard, to try to just balance things that you really want to work on and community events and stuff. But I really, really thoroughly love and enjoy the diamond painting community. Lindsay's live tonight totally reinforced that. I've made some just really true and dear friends here, and it's been such a lifeline for me through the pandemic, and from the people I've spoken to, it's not that way just for me. Other people have really enjoyed picking up this hobby and finding this community. So I'll be working on this one for the foreseeable future. Circling way back around to what I was talking about before, I was like, hey, I skipped to the halfway point of my WIP Chat instead of starting at the beginning. I was sharing a little bit about how I store my diamond paintings and the space that I live in, and just sort of the constraints that I have since I have little ones running around. So since I need to be able to put this up somewhere, and it is so large, I genuinely don't think it would fit in one of our closets. I had started out with just really loosely rolling it and like setting it on top of our kitchen cabinets. And I realized when I had the chance to lay it out flat when I was working on it one evening, I took a look and I realized, oh my gosh, there are brand new rivers or bubbles that are forming. Like, you can see here, I think the lighting is showing it, I think it is, these like kind of raised areas, and it just, double-sided adhesive, which is what this is, double-sided tape, is not as forgiving as poured glue is, as I'm learning the hard way. And let me grab another color. I had watched a few different YouTube videos on, from like Rachel Ray and Mrs. Coffee and various other YouTubers, just to try to get a sense for, okay, what are some of the common pitfalls of double-sided glue? Like, how can I try to avoid those with this kit? And what I had come across is that several people had said, like, oh, if you were to leave on the opaque, like the solid white cover that comes on these kits, if you leave those on, that often just leaving that on for any real length of time can cause bubbles and rivers to form. And several people had suggested and had like shared videos and stuff where they had removed the opaque paper and replaced it with parchment paper, not wax paper. This is super, super important. If for whatever reason you're listening to this and taking tips away with you, don't use wax paper. It will not come back off of the glue, and you will have ruined your diamond painting. Always, always, always test a new cover, anything new. Do a test section on like the corner of your canvas, like a super tiny section, peel it back, put it down and peel it back so you can confirm like, okay, this is okay to put on my canvas. Anyway, so I had really carefully put the parchment paper on here and gone over it with like a ruler to smooth out like any bubbles and rivers, like these, white things that I saw, to try to make it as flat as possible. And my understanding is that would have helped prevent rivers and bubbles from forming, which, again, backtracking to explain, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I will show you as soon as we get to this section. A bubble is when just the glue of the double-sided adhesive sort of gets tugged at for whatever reason, and it just sort of pulls up from the canvas a little bit and forms a bubble. And if you don't cut the bubble and release the air, it will either cause your drills to pop off, or you will actually see the sort of wave in your drills even once the painting is complete. So, like I said, I can see that there are some bubbles that showed up here, and I'll show you how I take care of them once I get to that section. So I found out the hard way that apparently even with replacing the opaque cover with parchment paper, just the simple act of loosely rolling it and not hanging it flat. This was for less than a week. This was over the course of just probably 5 or 6 days before I realized what had happened. There's like, I can just see bubbles, like just lines of bubbles all over my canvas. So it's okay. I'll take care of them as I go. We'll make it work. It'll be okay. It's a pain, but what can you do? I cannot for the life of me see what that symbol is. I might have to come back to that later because I usually use the flashlight on my phone. So, sorry, I'm looking to see if I can maybe find that, like if it'll look similar enough if I just look hard enough. I don't think I see it. I'll just have to go back at it with my flashlight later. That's okay. So, all this to say, I did find a spot. Hold up. Getting ahead of myself. Oh. Okay. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, we're good. So I did find a spot where I was able to put up a command hook. It's literally on the wall of our hallway to our downstairs bathroom. We have a little nook there where my husband works, that we set up a desk in what used to be a closet with double doors, because again, we live in a very small space. It works fine, and there's a baby gate there that keeps my toddler out of the desk area and out of that bathroom. So I was able to just put a command hook on that one blank wall, and I can hang this up. I use just a big sturdy wood hanger, and I just use like chip clips on the corners to clip it to the hanger and then hang it. It seems to be working well. I am currently debating, I should probably go back and pull back the parchment paper or the whole canvas, fix the bubbles, and then I threw out the opaque cover because I didn't think I was going to need it, and I'm not sure if I should replace it with parchment paper again, or if I have some release paper, like some Star Or release paper that I could try. if you guys have suggestions, especially if you've worked with double-sided adhesive more than I have, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I would super, super appreciate it, because I really kind of dived in head first when I decided for one of my first real double-sided adhesive projects to be this one. I would say that's one of the downsides I've run into with this kit. I understand that it has got to be super difficult to do, but I do wish that the company were able to make these kits with poured glue. All of their kits that are not as huge, because they sell plenty of normal, more standard size kits on their website, those all are, as far as I've seen, the rest of them are poured glue. It's just these giant Josephine Wall canvases they do double-sided adhesive on. My guess is because it's just a heck of a lot of work for them to do. It's just trickier, I'd imagine, to do poured glue on such a large canvas. But so I have learned quite a lot while working on this canvas. A lot. For those of you that watched my kitting up video, and if you're keen-eyed, you may notice that you aren't seeing the Harbor Freight containers, and you're seeing a new set of storage containers. You guys, after spending 2 hours of pre-prep planning, and then 2.5 hours actually kitting up, I worked on a tiny section of the canvas, like I've mentioned this in my last WIP Chat, like this big, that took me like 2.5 hours for that small section, and immediately said, the way they have my drills organized is not going to work. It's not, like, there's a better way to do this. So I hear the gasps in horror. Well, I think I hear the gasps in horror. Yes, I, like, literally after the one evening of working on these, I hopped on Amazon, did a bunch of poking around and research, and purchased a new kind of storage kit and system. So what I changed, if you are curious, is I had been using eight total containers this size, with that each had, this many drills in it. But I realized that organizing the symbols the way that I did, which was just basically DMC code order, made it really, really difficult for me to find the symbols that I was looking for quickly. Now, could I have left it as is and just sort of gotten used to where those various symbols were? Yeah. Did I feel like that was going to save my sanity? Heck no. So here's what I ended up doing. Let me show you real quick. I purchased, pull you up so you can see a little better, this storage container where this stacks on here and it closes and zips up. It holds 132 drill containers. The set up here are smaller. The set down here are larger. So what I did was, there were some drills, the ones that were in the Harbor Freights, needed to be in these bigger containers. So all the ones that were in the Harbor Freights that there tend to be a lot of, I just put all over on this side. Then how I organized it was, take a look at this ridiculousness. All the things with like triangle shapes and arrows, some more arrows, and I put like all the red arrows together. Can we talk about these red arrows right now? And then like the U's and the lines and the squares. Like, I decided to organize it by shape and sort of theme. Like down here, I've got like, these are the transportation vehicles. These are the hands. These are the paper airplanes. Here's a boat. Here's a hot air balloon. Guys, these symbols are something else. Then I do still use 2 of these for the small amounts. I have letters, numbers, cameras, like communication and utilities, and then some color organization. I am still using a large Elizabeth Ward for my colors that I have more of, and at this point I'm using them enough that I know exactly where they are. When I see the symbol, I know exactly where to reach for. So there is that update on how I'm organizing, or lack thereof. This is an adventure. I am having way more fun than I probably should be for my own sanity. Like, who has fun with this kind of crazy stuff? I'm a little bummed. The symbols, generally, they are blurry. Well, if not blurry, they're not clear. I think one of the reasons that very first section that I worked on took me 2.5 hours, even though it was the tiniest section ever, was because I spent so much time looking at the symbol and then scouring all of my storage containers to identify, like, okay, what are all the possible symbols this could be? And then narrowing it down and go, okay, it's probably this one. It was just, I feel like I've settled into much more of a rhythm now. Thank goodness, because seriously, after I did that first little section, I was like, I'm done. I'm just putting this away. I'm calling it good. And like, I'm just gonna have to go back to my channel and say, yeah, guys, that's not happening. You thought I was crazy, and guess what? You were right. It's not happening. Now, you thought I was crazy. You were right, and it is happening anyway. And I love it so much. In case you were curious, if you're looking at this and going like, well, Katie, that looks like a whole lot of nothing. Well, yeah, it's supposed to when you're more up close like this, which let me go ahead and bring you guys back down a little bit. When we're talking about a canvas that is this large, no one is going to be staring at this distance, this like 2 foot, 1.5 foot distance. Anyone that's looking at this canvas, that's looking at the whole thing, is going to be standing back several feet. And even just taking that initial glance at this small section that I've worked on, when I step back and look at it, I go, oh, there it is. This is like Notre Dame over here, over here, the side of Notre Dame in Paris, which you'll see hopefully soon. And like up here, like these are the branches of this gorgeous, like, I don't know, cherry blossom tree or something. So at this point, I'm very much in the phase of like, trust the process. This level of confetti is here because it lends an incredible amount of detail. I am so curious how I will feel about a canvas like this, like a Josephine Wall canvas that's on a large canvas like this, and has this many colors, 220 colors, compared to, say, like Diamond Art Club is getting Josephine Wall canvases. And the ones that Diamond Art Club has released tend to max out around like 60, 70 colors, maybe 80. I can't remember. I own Titania and Oberon, and I cannot remember how many colors are in that one. But even though it is, and the canvases are roughly the same size as this one, also squares, I think, mostly. But the way they've chosen to do it is to give it sort of a cleaner, like just sort of more overall, like not defined, just a cleaner, crisper overall look, where it's going to look like you're going to know what image is forming pretty quickly. And I know there was even, I think when Rachel Ray unboxed Titania and Oberon, okay, sorry about that, friends. Had something weird happen with my phone. As I was saying, when Rachel Ray unboxed Titania and Oberon over on her channel a couple months back, she actually had gotten permission from Diamond Art Club to show a comparison between different renderings of the same Josephine Wall kit, done with like 220 colors and done with Diamond Art Club's rendering like 60 colors and then sort of an in-between of like 100 some colors. And it was just interesting. I think that they all had their own value, and I don't know what my personal preference would be. It's kind of the thing I wanted to work on and see what I thought once I kind of got into it. So we will see. What are you, little symbol? I think. Oh my gosh, my throat is so sore from laughing like a crazy person in Lindsay's live and then talking a bunch. So, yeah, so even though this looks very pixely and confetti-y from how you guys are seeing it, I am trusting that it's gonna look really, really incredible and detailed once I get through more of it. So if you guys have any specific questions about this canvas or how, you know, the process of working on it has looked, let me know. I'm happy to answer. And I am having way too much fun with this. So I am finding that you'll see me placing these drill containers here, especially with the symbols where there are ones that are so incredibly similar to each other, like those silly red arrows and whatnot. I work on my canvas. I'm going to be working on this canvas almost entirely sideways because of how it's oriented, like it's landscape, not portrait as far as how large it is. And so I'm so nervous about mixing up my symbols that I always put my drill containers here and I orient them the same way as the canvas, just to confirm that I'm using the correct one. Hello, what are you? Okay. Oh my goodness. I feel like since I've been working on this for a decent amount of time, I'm starting to get into a rhythm of knowing where all these symbols are. So, I am the worst. I didn't even stop to ask you guys, how are you doing? If you're based in the United States, which my analytics tell me that most of you are, I know it's been a really crazy past week, hasn't it? I hope that you're taking some time to take care of yourself. It's very high stress. There's lots of really strong emotions going around, negative and positive, and it's best to be as gracious as you can. And you know, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, I hope that at least you can recognize and celebrate what an incredible accomplishment it is, what an incredible history in the making it is to have the vice president-elect be a woman. It's really exciting. I have 2 boys. And we're done having kids. So I don't share the same emotion that I hear in the voices of parents of girls and what this means to them. But I know that the way that I want to raise my boys is with them, and like with a healthy respect for women, and also for them to treat women as though they can be the president of the United States. They can be the vice president of the United States. That they should do their part to help the women in their lives succeed as well. And that this is a historical moment that we can all celebrate, whether or not they're women. So, yeah, just be slow to anger, as slow as you can be. There's a lot of high emotions, and I don't really want to get into it too much more than that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I was thinking of you. I know it's a lot. So, and I'm nervous about how the coming weeks and months are going to go, to be quite honest. People are hurting. Our country just feels so divided, and I hope that we can heal and move forward together, and that, I don't know, that's just all I hope for is for unity and being able to move forward together. So sorry, I didn't mean to get too heavy on the political stuff, but it's been very much at the forefront of my mind for the past week. I feel like I've been glued to the news and glued to social media and trying to balance that. So anyway, I just finished up this section. As you guys can see, look how these drills, the quality is really, really great. It's like genuinely super happy with the quality of the drills. I've had no popping, but also very little gapping. And the quality seems great. There's very little trash, like genuinely about what you'd expect. So we are going to move on here to this last section. Oh, well, here. So since I'm done with this, I will chop this piece of parchment paper off. Hopefully without making this a complete dumpster fire. Yay! And I'm very excited to be starting on this last section. So what I've been doing is oh, no, I don't have to do that. What I had been doing when I was going along here is I would do a cut this way, and then I'm peeling back very gently. So I don't want to cause more issues with the adhesive than I already have. And my understanding is the slower you pull, the better off you are. Okay, and then I just fold it along that line. So let me bring you guys down so you can see. Okay, sorry. I am still using my new equipment and getting the hang of it a little bit. So, you can see, it looks like you can tell, see the shiny here? These are bubbles that formed, and before I even had gone and put the parchment paper down, I peeled off all of the opaque paper and I cut and took care of all of the bubbles. So these are new. I know that these formed after I put the parchment paper on. So if you are not familiar with double-sided adhesive, I hesitate to give you advice because it's frankly still new to me. There are plenty of fabulous content creators that have done videos on tips for working with double-sided adhesive. So if you're looking for something specific, just do a search on YouTube and they'll definitely come up. As far as my experience and my understanding from what I have gleaned and watched, since these are bubbles, which is where the glue has pulled up from the canvas a little bit and there's air trapped under there. Like I mentioned before, if I were to go and put drills along this nice long bubble, they might look okay at first, but they're very likely to pop off because they aren't laying flat, and maybe moving around because this is not laying flat, or you're going to see like your drills, like when you're looking at them, even when it's like hanging on a wall, it'll look flat, but then you'll see just sort of a hump in your drills where the bubbles are on the canvas. So it's really best if you take care of the bubbles that you have. So I've got a nice long bubble running along here. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take my X-Acto knife. If you don't have an X-Acto knife, you can use the tip of your drill pen and just slightly scratch at it. I prefer to use an X-Acto knife just because it's a little more exact. Get my pun? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut just lightly. This is not cutting the canvas. You don't have to push hard. I'm cutting down the middle of the bubble itself first. And I'm going back through and I'm gonna just really lightly score it, going the opposite direction. All the way down. Again, this is not cutting the canvas. And then I'm gonna cut at opposite direction. And if you're experienced with double-sided adhesive and you're looking on in horror as I'm doing this because I'm doing something wrong, call me out in the comments. I welcome it. I want to do better. After I've done that, I'm going through and very lightly rubbing it with my drill pen. And what this is doing is it is making sure that all of the air that's trapped in there is escaping through the holes that I just cut, the various holes that I just cut, and it's helping the adhesive lay flat on the canvas again. This so far seems to be working for me. If you look, you might see what looks like a little bit of sheen there. When I was showing this canvas to you earlier, you might have seen the scratch marks from where I'd taken care of other rivers. That just because you see the scratch marks, there's nothing wrong with the canvas. But let me just take care of these other rivers. While I'm doing this, you guys want to take a look at this confetti because, oh my goodness. As I said when I was working on my Chuck Pinson, and I thought that was so confetti heavy. It's like what I've learned about Chuck Pinson, oh, it's late, is that his canvases have enough confetti to throw a party every day, every week of the year. So, yeah, no, Chuck Pinson ain't got nothing on this at all. By the way, because once again, I just jumped right in, got ahead of myself, and I didn't talk about any of the stuff I'm using tonight. This beauty, if you watched my Happy Mail Day birthday edition, this is the gorgeous rose gold pen that Matt and Stephanie over at Lazy River Wood Turning sent me as a very sweet thank you gift, just for just trying to support their business and trying to direct people over to them and that kind of thing. It was just a very, very thoughtful and kind gift that they absolutely did not need to do, because I am always happy to support small businesses and fabulous people that genuinely care about their customers and are just good people. They're genuine, they're honest, they have integrity, and they're fantastic. I'll link them down below, because if you are not following them on Instagram, if you're not signed up for his emails, you're missing out. He just shared when the next pen drop is happening. And I'm not going to tell you because you need to go over to his Instagram and find out. Okay, I think that took care of the bubbles that I can see. It looks good, and I will say, the adhesive is holding up quite well. I'll pull you guys back up a little bit. It's still quite sticky, and while double-sided adhesive can be kind of a pain in a lot of other ways, I am okay with how this is working as far as it's very sticky. I haven't had drills falling off or anything. So as far as my approach to when I open up a new section, what I have found to be most helpful for me is I look for the symbols that catch my eye the most. So far this section looks like it doesn't have a lot of color blocking, but there are a couple of colors I can tell I'm able to use my multi-placer. The symbol that's really jumping out at me is this black little Pac-Man, and I know that's in my Elizabeth Ward containers and the biggest container. So I'm gonna grab that one first, and since I don't think I'll be chatting with you guys too much longer here, I'll also just explain, after I do all of that color that I see the first go around, then I tend to gravitate towards other similarly colored symbols. Like I'll try to do all the symbols that have a black symbol on a color background. And often like the white symbol on a color background are the easiest for me to see. There's a whole lot of symbols that are just really faint and hard to see, and I've been leaving them to do till last because I have to pick through less because I've placed the stuff that's easier to see. That's my approach for the moment. We'll see how I feel about it long term. The biggest takeaway that I have from this project so far is don't be afraid to change your strategy. Like, was it absolutely ridiculous that I spent 2 extra hours re-kitting at, like changing over my getting up, yes, that was crazy, but I really feel like it has saved my sanity and my brain power. So I think it was the right call, even though it was a lot of work. So I spent most of this time talking about diamond painting, and I was gonna also just, share some general updates on my life. My birthday was a few days ago, and I felt so very loved. I mentioned as much in my Happy Mail video, how much it meant. Just, there were so many people that reached out and said happy birthday. There were friends that like sent things, which they really, really do not need to do at all. But I don't want them to feel unappreciated either. I just, it very, very much touched my heart. I kept it pretty low key at home. My husband is really, really busy with work right now. They have a lot of deadlines. He is working from home, which is really very grateful for that. Work has been really hectic for him, and so I just said, okay, we've been married for over 10 years, and this is just a crazy time. Like, how about like I'll just pick out my own birthday gift. I'll just pick out my own birthday gift, which is like, how about some diamond paintings? Or we've been looking to replace our dishes. We've had some really cheap, like teal and orange IKEA dishes for several years, and I am so sick of them. But I am also, I cannot be wasteful. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with them. It's fine. Like, I'm not gonna go replace our dishes just because. But then, our plates have been randomly chipping they come out of the dishwasher. And I thought, it is a sign from above. These cheap dishes that were so cute, and I was feeling in the mood for a change way back when, I was all about it. It's a sign that I can replace them without feeling guilty and wasteful, because they're literally just chipping for no apparent reason, and it just seems like the quality is wearing down. So I'm on the hunt for some cute, I think I'm just gonna do white dishes, like sort of a farmhouse chic, which I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. I'm feeling really like pretentious right now. Have I even just said that? If you're familiar with Chip and Joanna Gaines, I from day one have adored their show and said that Joanna Gaines is like my style spirit animal. Like, I just want her to decorate my house exactly with her taste. So that's generally my style. So I'm just gonna look for something white with just a little bit to it. Speaking of pretentious, if you guys want to hear a funny story, so I've obviously mentioned my friend Lindsay before, and she has a channel over here on YouTube. She sent me a message a few weeks back. She mentioned on Instagram, she's like, oh, by the way, YouTube keeps flagging your comments as possible spam, my comments on her videos. And I just laughed. I said, did they say why? She's like, no. And she's like, you write, you had the beautiful response about how your favorite, and says like, oh, your favorite flower is a calla lily, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, YouTube saw that all of my fancy language and proper grammar and was like, this pretentious, you know what? It's pretentious bitch. Let's block her. Sorry. So, I'm just sort of, now whenever I use those $5 vocab words, I'm like, oh, there's maybe in pretentious again. Sorry. Even just using the word pretentious. Oh, well. So, also, side note, going back to the dishes, I already can hear, I know that there are going to be people that are going to be like, white dishes, why aren't you getting pink? Listen. I don't know what happened. It's like, did I just make one YouTube video where I talked about how I felt like I couldn't like the color pink when I was growing up because it was too girly, and I didn't want to be a girly girl, and blah, blah, blah. And so now I'm making up for lost time. I like things pink and sparkly. But like now it's a thing. Like a thing. Katie, she likes color pink. And it's true, but just in some things, I don't want pink dishes. I don't have a pink rug or pink pillows in my living room. Don't ask me about the throw pillows in my bedroom. They're pink. They're dusty rose and they're beautiful. And they're from the Joanna Gaines line at Target. Okay, I love the color pink. But no, I'm not getting pink dishes, okay? So, please no judgment. So anyway, yeah, for my birthday, it was a really hectic couple of evenings. And so I said, you know what, let's just Sunday evening, which is tonight when I'm recording, I said it should be way more chill. Why don't we do our takeout, like birthday dinner, Sunday evening? Like it doesn't have to be on my birthday. Like let me just pick up on Blaze to eat on the weekend instead. And so we did that tonight. I ate the most delicious cheesecake ever. And we did it takeout style because not only do we have small children, one of whom does not need to be in public destroying everything in sight, but we're also trying to follow the guidelines for the pandemic. And so while there are plenty of people that are eating out, we have chosen not to because we don't feel like that's just not personally something we feel like we need to do. So we're doing takeout and delivery, so we're supporting local restaurants, but we're not going and sitting down and dining out, if that makes sense. Let me grab some water real quick. Okay. But my brother and my mother-in-law both were like, we know you're, you're super into crafting right now. So is it okay if we don't want to try to like pick out something for you because we know there are probably specific things that you want when it comes to crafting. Like, is it okay if we just give you money and so you can pick out exactly what you want? And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so sweet. Like that's still so thoughtful of them. And if they would have decided to pick out anything for me that was diamond painting related, that still would have meant the world to me because my love language is acts of service, and really whenever anyone just takes that extra effort and time to think of me and to like go and look for something that they think I would like, it's absolutely not about what they're giving. It's like they've already won just by thinking about me. I'm not hard to please, like at all in that sense. So even though some people might be like, well, that was tacky or whatever, that wasn't how I felt about it. I'm sorry if it's gauche to talk about money. I don't know. We did Dave Ramsey financial class really, really early on in our marriage, and just neither Adam or I are shy at all about talking about money, and not like in a way like we want to rub your nose in it or something. It's just, it's not a taboo subject. So that's why, anyway, all this to say, I didn't feel like it was a cop-out whatsoever from my parents-in-law and my brother, because like I said, they were thinking of me. They knew that like I've been really thoroughly enjoying diamond painting, and getting to make videos and be so involved on Instagram and everything. And so that they thought this is something that Katie would enjoy the most just really, really meant a lot to me. So I did place an order with DIY Moonshop earlier today, and I'm very excited. I have a really, really long wish list from DIY Moonshop, and this next order is going to be kind of an experimental one for me. I decided to order one of their kits in candy, which is their crystal rhinestone, it's like what Crystal Canvas Art Designs has, I believe, where it's like rhinestones as opposed to the acrylic or resin drills like these. And so I got that one in the kit, the Guardian, which is one of the rainbowy kits. Is it Aja Trier? I am terrible at pronouncing names, and I'm sure I butchered that. But it has a dragon in it, and the colors looked like they really lent themselves to the candy, as they call it. I'm sorry, I keep brushing. This WIP Chat is so all over the place because I keep thinking of things. I don't know how this is gonna sound when I'll go back and listen to it. I keep accidentally brushing the mic that I'm using. Lindsay heard me mentioning that I was having some trouble with like figuring out how to do audio a little better so you guys could hear me a little more clearly even when I'm speaking softly because of the sleeping toddler tiny tornado above me. And I just did it again. I'm sorry if that's super loud to you guys. So Lindsay so sweetly sent me a mic to start using, and this is, I think, the third video I've used it on, and I've already had some people mention that they've noticed and feel like it does make a big difference. So if you've made it this far in the video, let me know down in the comments below. Do you notice a difference, good or bad? Starting with, this video or my last couple, does it seem like the audio is still working okay for you or anything? Any problems you're having with hearing? Because excuse me, I don't want to be grating anyone's ears if I can help it. Anyway, back to the DIY Moonshop order. So I decided to try out one of their candy kits, and then I have yet to try one of their kits in squares because the squares are more expensive, which is kind of a bummer. But I wanted to try one to see what the quality is like. And I've had my eye on one of the pieces by Anna Dittman for a while. Guise, Guise, if you're curious. So I decided to get that one in squares. I saw a friend of mine over on Instagram complete that a month or two ago, and it is the best rendering of a face I have ever seen, of skin and a face on a diamond painting ever. It was stunning, absolutely stunning. So, and then I ordered one of Cherokee Alice in Wonderland kits to do for Lindsay's Alice in a Winter Wonderland event, which is in January. I will try to remember to link to the announcement video that she shared. Try to link that in the description below. But I'm excited for that. That is one event that I will be participating in. And Cherokee is one of my very favorite artists that DIY Moonshop partners with, and I just want like all of her kits. So when I saw the Alice one, initially like that wasn't something that had been on my wish list for any length of time, but then when I was browsing earlier and I thought, oh my gosh, this will be perfect for the Alice and a Winter Wonderland event. I want to do that. And if I order it now, my guess is that it's going to come a little bit after the 1st of January. The event starts on January 1st and goes through February 14th, Valentine's Day. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lindsay. And So even if it comes late, I did get it in rounds, and it's not a huge canvas, so I should still be able to start and complete it before the end of the event. Fingers crossed. Yeah. So as you can see, I've been working on this section for a little while, and even this color, which there is a decent amount of, I have yet to finish. And it's a symbol that's very easy to spot. So it just is, oh my gosh, the confetti in this, crazy. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up and let you guys go. And I think I'm gonna try to get to bed here soon, because between staying in Lindsay's live on Instagram for a while and how long I have been jabbering on, I don't even know how long it's been, because I had to like stop and restart my video. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. If you made it this far, if you made it here all the way to the end, thanks for hanging out with me. I am really enjoying getting to know you guys in the comments. There have been some new faces lately, and that's a lot of fun. I'm really glad that you're here. I hope that you stick around. I have not forgotten about the multi-placing and patty wax videos that I have talked about doing. There's some other content creators that have, like major content creators, I'm talking about like Rachel Ray and Mrs. Crochet and Coffee, have shared videos with their tips on those things recently. I definitely recommend going and checking them out, because I think different people have different suggestions to share. But I just didn't want to stack my video of the same topic right on top of theirs. I didn't want to be obnoxious or redundant. So I will be working on that soon. I haven't actually filmed it yet, but I'm going to start working on maybe some of those initial bits for you guys. And as always, please let me know down in the comments if there are any particular kinds of videos you'd like to see from me. Any videos. Pooh, I said that already. I need to go to bed. If there are any diamond painting companies or small businesses that make accessories and tools that you'd like me to try, I am always very much open to suggestions, and I love trying new things, and nudging my friends that are creatures of habit into trying new things. You know who you are, and I bet you made it to the end of this video. Oh, anyway, once again, thank you guys all for hanging out with me tonight. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, what you're working on, if you're an expert in double-sided adhesive and have thoughts to share on the issues I'm having with the rivers and bubbles, mostly bubbles, I guess. I'm always grateful for advice and input. And yeah, just let me know how you guys are doing this week and what's going on with you. And let me just place a couple more just for good measure. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Let me know you liked it. If you're new here and you want to get notified anytime I share various videos with rambling trains of thought, sometimes more organized than others, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell, which will send you a notification anytime I post a video, which is not on a schedule because of aforementioned tiny humans that I get to film after they're in bed. I hope you all have a really good week. Please be kind to yourselves and to each other. Go out of your way to do something gracious and kind for those around you this week. And I look forward to chatting with you next time. Have a great week, friends. Bye.